As the saying goes, there's a first time for everything. And as of August 15, 2025, which is coming up shortly, I've been living in New York City for 14 years. And this is the first time I've ever walking across the Brooklyn Bridge. Even with all of the visits and all of the days that I spent in New York City, I've never done this. And I want to take you with me as we walk from Manhattan, in the background as you see, all the way across to Brooklyn on the Brooklyn Bridge for the first time. Every single day, thousands of people walk across this iconic bridge because it is a tourist attraction. From New York natives to tourists, everyone wants to see and experience the Brooklyn Bridge at least once. We're walking along the walking path, but if you notice to the left of me, you have the bike lanes. I'm excited to take a trek around the Brooklyn Bridge because it's the first time that I've ever been able to get a chance to actually come out and have a walk. Look at it, looks like it's a downtown hidden train pathway. I guess it leads you right onto the Brooklyn Bridge. New York City is one of those interesting, unique places. You can never expect something. You always have to expect the unexpected when you're visiting New York City. It looked like there's to be 2 lanes, one for going towards Brooklyn and one for coming from Brooklyn. But you know, especially a person like myself, resident of New York City, we tend to break the rules. And I kind of want to escape the tourists just so that I can see the action for the first time. Look at that. It is quite a breath of fresh air in my opinion. You have the Murray Burton High School campus. Can you imagine going to high school and staring across from the Brooklyn Bridge? Look at the famous New York City courthouse and the Supreme Court. And let's take a spin back. You also have the One World Trade building, and then you also have this building right here gives you magnificent views of the Statue of Liberty. Some of the most incredible architecture in downtown New York City. It's really a shame how some of us residents don't take advantage of this city. But then again, I think if you've stayed in New York City all your life, you've probably walked across the Brooklyn Bridge at least once. But with work and so much things to do, you can kind of get sidetracked. I was searching the internet looking for videos of the Brooklyn Bridge, and I didn't see many videos of the Brooklyn Bridge. So I guess this is gonna be one of the very few videos that you can find on YouTube of the Brooklyn Bridge. Someone actually taking a full tour, unscripted tour across the Brooklyn Bridge, which I'm excited to do. I kind of like unscripted things, you know, with too much editing and fakery in the world. You kind of want to see something real, raw and unscripted. If you're looking at this area here, that is the Seaport neighborhood. It's one of the most underrated neighborhoods in all of Manhattan. It's a quaint, poetic neighborhood, and I'm thinking about stopping at the Waterfront to get a drink. But let's have a look at it. Downtown area, going into the Wall Street, that is the Seaport neighborhood. So much fantastic things to do in that little area. If you ever get a chance to come to New York City and you want to escape off into something poetic, magical, and one of a kind about the city, do explore the Seaport neighborhood. And again, if your hotel is downtown, you're right in the midst of everything. By the way, the Seaport Hotel is in that area, of course, and I'll see if I can give you a better look at what it's like to visit there. And one thing I did expect from crossing the Brooklyn Bridge, I did expect a lot of sellers for some reason, a lot of people having memorabilia, souvenirs all across the Brooklyn Bridge, selling fruit stands and little trinkets, because the Brooklyn Bridge is one of those very popular tourist attractions. Look at that. A quick little spin around to show you how far we've walked and where we're going. I will say this, now that we're on top of everything, I do feel like it is more tighter than what I've imagined. I've always imagined it to be two raw lanes. You see these little trellises or trusses that's going along? I thought those were covered, and I just thought it was a vast lining from across here to here, and that's what I thought it was. I didn't realize how narrow this space really was. And mimicking the cars, as I said, going towards Brooklyn, but coming out of Brooklyn, I guess that's how you walk. So even as a native New Yorker, you learn the walking rules. But hopefully it'll open up more so that I can take you and show you a tour across both sides. Often you'll hear about New Yorkers not going to tourist spots, but I think that's one of the biggest lies that's ever been taught about New York City. New Yorkers will absolutely go out and explore New York City. This building here is one of those most beautiful buildings that you can actually get a glimpse of Manhattan from in the downtown area. So a little bit about myself, in case you are new to this channel, is that I build furniture in New York City. It doesn't matter the type of client, whether they're on housing assistance or they live in glamorous buildings like that. I build furniture for a living in New York City, and I've been in that building, and when I tell you, the views are magical downtown. Even if you're staring at this building here, which is smaller than that building, that's one of the most beautiful architecture spaces. By the way, if you're staring in that, you're staring in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Brooklyn is a vast borough that stretches in that area all the way down in this area to the downtown portion. And before we go all the way down there, see that little island there? That's the Governor's Island. I've yet to go there. I can't wait to go there in the future because it's really a popular destination in the summertime. They have the Veuve Clicquot, that champagne or wine company. They have events on that island, but you cannot live on that island, but it's a great place to have a daytime cruise. And I think a daytime cruise pass is like $4. Also, if you see this sign here that says Pier 17, that place is where they host some of the greatest concerts in Manhattan. Also, it was live and pumping for the 4th of July celebrations. And of course, you have the downtown piers as well too. And then you have this dining option there as well. I think it's called the Tillery or something like that. Oh no, the 10 building. There you go. Seaport neighborhood, poetic. You don't see much but until you go inside. And then you have that Pier 17, which is sensational to be. But let's take our walk across the bridge. Let's squeeze through. It really is more cramped than I thought it would be. Excuse me. And you have to say excuse me too politely, because most of these are tourists and they don't know the New York way of life, and I'm sure some of us can fight for real. So be careful. That's why it's always good to be polite to people. You never know. If you are coming to New York City and you want to come across the Brooklyn Bridge, this is the Brooklyn Bridge, of course, but you see this other bridge here? Be careful about that. That is not the Brooklyn Bridge, and it's easy to get caught up and walk down the wrong bridge. You don't want to do that, because if you start walking down the wrong bridge and you don't see the people, you're going to be a little pissed off. I think it opens up at the top, but we'll see. A bit more of that Seaport Pier 17, and then you have the Seaport 33 Hotel that's right there in the Seaport neighborhood. We're gonna have to go to the Brooklyn part of the Brooklyn Bridge so that you can see the downtown Brooklyn Bridge waterfront area, which I think is an awesome place to be, especially if you're staying at the 1 Hotel Brooklyn Bridge. And always take the trains. As you can probably see here, the trains are moving along the tracks underground. Take the train, get a different view, get to see some street art through the little Chinatown neighborhood, which is that way as well. That's the Chinatown neighborhood. And look at that, the Empire State Building is actually right there. Empire State Building, 432 Park Avenue, some of the most expensive real estate in that area. Also, that Nita Point right there is the Chrysler Building. So now this is more like it. And they never show this part of the Brooklyn Bridge. They only show that those narrow parts and make it look like such a huge walkway. But that's the manipulation of the camera in Photoshop and editing. You get to make things seem more than what they are. I still think this is an incredible experience though. Look at that. The beautiful Manhattan skyline like I've never seen it before. See that building here? That building, that's right near the quintessential terminal. That's the Summit One Vanderbilt. So I can't believe you see that magnificent view of the Brooklyn Bridge. That's gonna be my next travel adventure. And then you have the very famous public hotel by Ian Shager and that rooftop. That is the spectacular, breathtaking part of Manhattan. Look at that, the beautiful Seaport neighborhood and piers. And this is about 5 or 6 o'clock in the summertime. Look at the lovers lane. People being in love, putting their lock on the Brooklyn Bridge. It'll probably stay there forever because this is New York. And we like that incredible uniqueness that you can find. Look at that. Lovers lock all the way through. New Yorkers, I were here. Look at that. Some of the rusticness. And that's the beauty of New York City. Look at the sticker art along the bridges. You can find all these little incredible jewels and they look like a lover. Look at that face there. How about that? I hope they're still together. Lovers, all on the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't know how the heck they got that up there, but they did. Before I leave New York City as a full-time resident, because I will always come back to visit, I think I need to put me a locker on the bridge too as well, just to say I was here. I didn't even realize that little detail until now. Let's scurry across the bridge. People from all different walks of life visiting New York City. Europeans, Asians, Africans, Central Americans, South Americans. People from places you never imagined coming to New York City, because I don't care what anybody say, New York City is the city of the world. It's the center of the world, and everyone is dying to at least visit once. Well, I wouldn't say dying to visit once, but they want to come. Look at these hair ties. I don't know what they got hair ties and trash for. I don't like this wall. I don't know. I don't know what that means, but someone did it. Those are all hair ties and napkins. I don't know why people would do that. I don't like that part of Brooklyn Bridge. I'll let you decide, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a little prudish, but that's not it. I don't mind the locks. I think the locks are romantic. I think they do that in the UK or Paris. Yeah, Paris. I think they do that in Paris, but I don't know about no debris and trash and hair ties. The hair ties are fine. I don't mind the scrunchies, but we talking about napkins and whatnot. I don't know about that. Look at that. Those beautiful vast oceans. So I love when buildings in New York City look like this one. It's a mirrored building and the light and the sun bounces off of that. So it kind of get lost in the scene. See, now this is a view. This part is definitely the view. Look at that, Governor's Island. And is that her? Yep, that's her. That's the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island, of course. Also, if you're looking behind, you're staring into Staten Island as well, in New Jersey. Staten Island, if you are coming to New York, the ferry is free. So please go visit the borough that is off from everyone. I call it the bastard borough. I don't know why people don't go to Staten Island. Staten Island can be nice. But you know what it is? It's not convenient. You take a ferry, it's a free cruise, and you know, you'll drive past the Statue of Liberty for free. Manhattan is so beautiful on this magnificent Monday afternoon when everybody is getting off of work. Should we say evening more better? Let me just say this because I love the real estate and architecture in New York City. You see this building here? That building has one of the most beautiful penthouse apartments in the downtown Brooklyn area. It's on sale currently for $19 million, and I think it was Denzel Washington's temporary home while he was filming, even though Denzel Washington lives in Manhattan as well. But it's a magnificent property overlooking the Manhattan skyline in downtown Brooklyn. If I had a couple of dollars, I would definitely buy it. But I don't have a couple of dollars. I don't even have 2 brown cents to rub together. Welcome to the waterfront of Brooklyn. Those views are important as well. You see this structure here? That's the One Hotel Brooklyn Bridge. Go down there, enjoy yourself. Look at them on the rooftop in that area, looking at the skyline. By the way, their rooftop down there at the One Hotel is one of the most prominent rooftops in New York City on the downtown side, and it's one of the most busiest. The cuisine is Japanese fusion and Latin cuisine, and we're actually gonna go down there, so you'll get to see up close and personal of what it is to be in that area. They had a major renovation, and I'm glad they did because I love when New York City improves itself. Although you have some joggers across the Brooklyn Bridge, I can't imagine jogging in this place unless you wake up really early in the morning or you do the marathon. The marathon would be great because I guess they close it off for only the joggers unless you take a bike and go to the bike lane, which is underneath. And that's a separate situation. In New York City, there's certain places where you could bike. I wouldn't bike in most parts of New York City because I don't think most of them know how to drive for real. I feel like they give license to everyone. Look at that, the wonderful views that you can get living in the downtown area. That looked like a rooftop pool. Then you have these cabanas, and that's actually residential building. You have that Pebble Beach, and then you have the James Carousel in the downtown area. Plenty of places where you can have a picnic as well. How dope is that? See, the One Hotel, the rooftop at the One Hotel is bumping. And did you know that they have a pool at the One Hotel too? And then they have this magnificent park that you can lounge off. And you see the $4 waterway ferries and the Statue of Liberty right there. The Governor's Island. Again, 14 years after living here, I finally walked across the Brooklyn Bridge. And I'm glad I did. So it's one little check mark that I could take off of Manhattan. We're officially on the Brooklyn side too. I don't know if I've mentioned that. Look at that. I know this is so random, but Etsy has a building downtown. And again, like I showed you, that $19 million Denzel apartment at the penthouse level. It's so beautiful inside, and you can actually go see that property on YouTube. We're pretty much nearing the end, and by the time we get down there, it's pretty much a wrap. Look at that Manhattan skyline one more time before we dip down and I start talking to you about this incredible experience that I experienced for the first time. It was definitely worth the walk. If I didn't stop and I just walked across, it would have probably taken me 20 minutes to do so. So it's a nice 20-minute outdoor experience of New York City. But since I'm showing you around, and I've been dying to show you around, it took a hot minute. It took me almost 30 minutes to walk. And I'm super excited. Look at those floor-to-ceiling windows, and you get to stare off into the Brooklyn area. One thing I love about floor-to-ceiling windows is as the seasons change, you never get bored of looking out those windows. You never get bored of looking out of those towers and looking into the horizons. I guess that can take the stress off of you. To have money in New York City would be a dream. If I had money in New York City, nobody couldn't tell me nothing. I wouldn't break the law, but nobody couldn't tell me nothing. Look at that, a rooftop pool. By the way, that building, so let's look at it. I think a Dumbo Legacy. I think it's called the Olympia. 1 to 5 plus bedrooms, Olympia Dumbo, and they have everything. So they have that rooftop pool. They also have tennis courts along the way. If you want to stay at like a resort, that is the place that you go there too. Even that space there, that's the amenity center. Full-length basketball court and everything. And that's staring more into the downtown building. You have this new structure, the dark building, I'm gonna call it that. New Yorkers do not like that structure, but I don't understand why. I think it's a very beautiful building. It has a low occupancy rate. I don't know if it's because it's expensive or what it is, but I actually think it's a pretty cool building in that area. Should you find yourself walking from Manhattan to Brooklyn across the Brooklyn Bridge, take a walk from the downtown Dumbo area or the Brooklyn Bridge waterfront. You have a lot of popular eateries and a lot of popular shops, including Grimaldi's Pizza. You have the Juliana's Pizza. You have the 7th Street Burger Shop. All of these eateries are very popular because this is one of those spaces where if you can't rise to the occasion, you simply don't last. You have a nice downtown snack shop, specialty grocery. You have the Brooklyn Bridge gift shop, and then you can go out and have some ice cream at the local ice cream shop in the downtown area. Now you have Thai Beer, which is a very popular restaurant serving Thai cuisine. You have Shake Shack, very popular burger joint, and then you have the Brooklyn Ice Cream Factory right across the street. Brooklyn Bridge right in the backdrop. This area just opened up. The Brooklyn Bridge Park went under a major renovation, and then you have the 1 Hotel Brooklyn Bridge that's right there, and again the rooftop deck, which gives you awesome views of the downtown area in Manhattan, which we'll go there in a second. Help me out. You have the Van Leeuwen ice cream shop at the corner here, and then you have an Italian restaurant in this area as well too. Let me go and walk over there so that I can give you the correct name, because here's what I would say. It's a very popular steakhouse, and I want to make sure that I say it right. I love the poetic gardens that you can sit in and you can wait. The River Cafe, that's what it's called. You do need a reservation. If you are driving in this area, they do offer valet parking, but you have that very incredible poetic garden there. Can you see it? Waterfront dining, staring right into Manhattan. In this area, you can also take the $4 waterway train day cruise and enjoy yourself along the East River. Look at that, even watching it from this angle, the Brooklyn Bridge going into Manhattan. It's a different sort of experience. Such a fantastic place to be, where people from all across the world and cultures collide and have fun. High Tide, an oyster bar restaurant right there in the midst of it all. That is the ferry landing. You take your $4, take a ferry, and down the East River you go. Look at that, right in the distance there, of course, is the Empire State Building. You have the 10 building like I showed you, and then you have the Pier 17, which across the top, of course, you get those incredible over the river views for a nice concert hall. At the bottom of the Pier 17 is a nice outdoor restaurant. And that area is the downtown area staring into Wall Street. You have a combination of work buildings as well as residential apartments in that area. People just opening their windows. It looks like someone is enjoying a happy birthday, overlooking this fantastic city. Nice residential building here. commercial building in the back. You have that magnificent welcome sign there. Again, the Olympia building gives you incredible views into the city, incredible real estate in this area. We're gonna make our way over to this waterfront just in here. And like I was telling you, you can't really see it from there because it gives you an optical illusion. You know, there's a cutoff, but you have that park where you can lounge and catch the sun rays. These pathways along the area are so nice. They are incredible if you could just walk through those. And it's like you're running through a forest. You run over little small bridges. It's so poetic in there. And just recently, of course, the 4th of July celebrations gave you all of this. You watch fireworks over this. The waterfront, Statue of Liberty, up close and personal. Governor's Island, next to it. Welcome to New York City, a place that caters to everybody. Look at it. People of all different walks of life, enjoying themselves, lounging around, and the stretch just keep going and going all the way through. I want to kind of show you the Verrazano Bridge. I think that's what it's called, that gets you to Staten Island, but we'll see. No, it's not gonna pick it up down here, but down in that area, you'll see this nice Verrazano Bridge. That's what I believe it's called, and it takes you into Staten Island. This is not Staten Island, that's the Governor's Island, but Staten Island would be in this area, in the back of it, going in past the Statue of Liberty. And I get to live here. As I said earlier in the video, it's the first time for everything. And today was the first time I've ever walked across the Brooklyn Bridge. It wasn't what I expected, although I would say it was a once in a lifetime opportunity. Wait, I live here. I can do that as much as I want. It was the first time that I've ever walked across the Brooklyn Bridge. And again, it wasn't what I expected. It was a little narrow along the walking paths, but it was definitely worth the experience. Will I walk across the Brooklyn Bridge again? Yes. Will I show someone across the Brooklyn Bridge? Yes. Should you come to New York and walk across the Brooklyn Bridge? Yes. It's a magnificent, iconic tourist attraction where you get to see incredible views of the city like no other. The space was a bit cramped, but overall, the Brooklyn Bridge was pretty cool. Take a date, take a friend, and walk across the Brooklyn Bridge. Get to know New York City's Manhattan. I had fun today. If you're interested in New York City and you want to explore some of the most incredible exclusive experiences in New York City, hit the like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for hanging out with me today.